In today's video, we are going to be talking about how setting boundaries in private practice can help you with a better work-life balance as a therapist. Now, as a business owner myself, I do get the struggle of balancing what happens at work with your personal life. I work from home, so it can be really hard to separate work and home life, especially when there is no actual physical separation between the two. And as a recovering people pleaser, boundaries were something that I didn't even know existed, didn't know how to set. And becoming an entrepreneur, becoming a business owner really has helped me in my own personal development of being able to set boundaries. And it's made such a massive difference to my life, both from a work perspective and from a personal life perspective. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Kim. I help therapists in private practice with their business systems and processes, getting them confident with admin and reducing tech overwhelm. And in today's video, we are going to be talking about different areas you can identify and set boundaries as a therapist in private practice. Now, not to teach you to suck eggs, because I'm sure you all know what boundaries are and why they are important. But when I looked it up online, it said it helps us establish and maintain healthy relationships, prevent burnout and resentment, and protect our mental health and well-being, which all sounds great, right? And I'm sure as a therapist, for your clients, you really advocate for them to set boundaries and help them with this. But from my experience of working with therapists in private practice, boundaries are something that they struggle with. Now, I am generalizing, but when people come to me with problems in their practice, whether that's, they need help with their systems or administration, I often uncover things where they have not set very good boundaries for themselves, for their clients, and things like that, which is making their life a lot harder. So in today's video, we are delving into practical ways that you can set boundaries so that you can protect your own time, energy, and well-being without sacrificing your clients' needs. So for the first area that we can look at when it comes to boundaries, let's look at how you can set boundaries with your clients. So some ways that you can set clear boundaries when it comes to working with your clients is sticking to session times. So making sure that if you have a 50-minute time limit, that you are sticking to that so that you are getting regular breaks in between your clients. You can also decide what times you are willing to work up front as well. So I always advocate for you deciding when you want to work and not letting your clients dictate that to you. So if a client can't make their regular session time, but they say, oh, is it okay if we do it at 7 a.m. instead, or can we do it at 7 p.m. and you don't want to work early mornings or late evenings, then you need to be okay with saying, no, that doesn't work for me, and giving them another alternative if you have one, or telling them that they're just going to have to miss their session that week if they can't make it. You do not have to bend to what your clients want in terms of session times and things like that. I hear often that when people start out in private practice, they don't set themselves clear working times, and so they just accept any client that wants to work with them at any time they want to see them. But this will often lead to burnout and resentment for that client, because as you get busier, if you continue to see that client at a time that isn't suitable for you, so let's say it's 7 a.m. and you don't want to start work till 10 a.m. on a normal day, every single time you see that client, you are going to resent it. The night before, you are going to be thinking, I'm only getting up early to see this client and I don't need to anymore. So I would really encourage you, if you are new to private practice, to set the times that you actually want to work and only accept clients that are able to fit in with your schedule, because that means you are going to be a good fit for each other and it's not just a one-way street when it comes to compatibility. Another way to set clear boundaries with your clients is around no-shows, late cancellations, and things like that. Making sure that you have a policy in place for these things and then being able to enforce it, such as charging them a late cancellation fee or a no-show fee as and when that occurs, so that people don't continually miss sessions or not turn up, which is costing your practice money. Obviously, people cancel, things happen, but that is why you have a policy in place, and then you can make a decision. Let's say, for example, Joe blogs, always comes to sessions, there's never an issue, and then one day he says his car's broken down and he can't get to you and he needs to wait for the AA to fix the car and that's why he can't do a Zoom call with you or something like that. You can make the decision, like, I'm not going to charge him for that missed session because for the other 89 sessions he's turned up. But you want to have a policy in place to prevent clients from continually not showing up or turning up late or cancelling last minute. I do have a video all about this which I will link as well. You also want to have a policy in place around contact outside of sessions, and I definitely would put that in your paperwork and also in your email signature as well, so that every time they get correspondence from you, they are reminded about your office hours and that you will only contact them within those hours. You want to really think about whether you want to give your clients your phone number, because then they can text you or even ring you outside of session time. So you want to have a policy around that. If you do give out your phone number, what is that for? So I would say that, you know, a text message if you are running late, or if you need to make a late cancellation, then you would text me, but otherwise all contact should be via email, for example. You might have a certain client base where you do allow them to check in with you on a weekly basis, between sessions and things like that, which is fine, again, as long as you're really clear about when that should be, when and if they should expect a response from you, and how they are letting you know that, whether that is via a text message or an email. You just want to really make sure that all communication is clearly outlined for the client so that they know what your boundaries are around that. The second area that you can look at when it comes to setting boundaries is around your time. Now, we did touch on this with the clients around choosing your own session times, about making sure that you're sticking to however long the session should be, and also around your time outside of sessions as well, how much time you're spending on clients, communication and things like that outside of session times. But this also does include the other work that comes along with running a private practice, such as all of your admin time for invoicing and bookkeeping and client communication, all of the admin that comes along with running a business. And I would really recommend that you do a time audit so that you can see exactly how much time all of your admin is taking you, and then do a time blocking exercise so that you can decide when you're going to work on certain things and try and stick to that as much as possible. And I do have a video all about time blocking, how you can use it, what the benefits are, and I have a free download as well that you can, it's just a spreadsheet, you don't even have to give me your email for it, so that you can get started with time blocking, because time blocking has completely changed my life and I advocate for it in the Goal Getters membership. We do it every single quarter. We have a look at our time and where we are spending it, and they have also said that it's been such a game changer for them. So I'd really recommend, if you don't have any kind of organization with your time, to do a time blocking exercise, and like I said, I will link it. The next area you want to look at when it comes to setting boundaries is around your workload. So again, lots of people, when they start working in private practice, they don't think about how many sessions they want to have in a week. They don't really think about how much money they need to earn and do the reverse maths in order to know how many sessions that they require at the rate they're setting in order to make the money they want to make. Now, I do have a really quick fee setting exercise, which I will just actually put on screen. I'm going to put it on screen here. And also I link, it's like a 2-minute video, I think, which explains how to set your fees in private practice based on the money that you need to earn. So I'm going to put all that for you. But let's say you're already in private practice, you're already working with too many clients, for example. What I would really suggest is having a look and thinking about, when you're doing your time blocking exercise, when is it you actually want to work, and then you can work out how many sessions that is in your week. You can then work out, based on what you need to earn, how much your rate needs to be in order to only do those 10 sessions or 15 sessions, whatever it is that you've come up with. Now, this fee might be way off what you're currently charging, but at least it then gives you some kind of guide to where you need to get to. So whether that is you need to put your rate up for new clients pretty much immediately so that you can start earning more money and reducing the amount of sessions that you are taking on. You also want to make sure that the clients you're working with are a good fit for you, so you don't constantly feel like you're not doing good work, or you're not giving your best to somebody, or that somebody else could do a better job with them. And I also have this experience myself. I have worked with therapists in private practice since 2016. And there have been clients that I've taken on that have not been a good fit for me, and they have absolutely drained me. I have been waking up in the night with anxiety thinking about working with them, and every single time they have not been a good fit for my expertise and my skills, because everybody has them. Everybody has their expertise and skills. I can talk about running a private practice all day long. You could literally book me for a month and I would not run out of things to say and things to help you with. But if you came to me as somebody who works in a completely different industry, wanting even similar things, somebody wanted me to set up a system for them, but they worked in a completely different industry, wasn't coaching or private practice or anything like that. And it was hard work. It was really hard work for me to get the information from them, because I was not the expert in that industry, and it really did show. And in the end, we didn't finish the project for various reasons. But every single time I have taken on a client that is not a good fit for me, out of fear of needing money, or out of not wanting to say no and being a people pleaser, and somebody recommended me to their brother's cousin's uncle or whatever, because I've helped them with their private practice, so I must be able to help their uncle with their plumbing business, for example, it's never worked out well. So I can talk from personal experience when it comes to taking on the wrong types of clients. And I know that therapists do the same as well. I know that you have probably taken on a client out of a fear mindset or a lack mindset of not having any clients come to you, not getting the right inquiries, or not earning enough money. But eventually, if you take on too many of those clients, they will drain you out of all of your energy and your mental well-being. Trust me on that, that absolutely will happen. So you want to make sure that you're saying yes to the right clients, that you're working at times you want to work at, and that you're getting the fee that you need in order to live the life that you want to live. And finally, where my kind of expertise do come in, is with technology. There is a lot that you can do with implementing the right technology into your private practice, which is really going to help you with your boundaries and also your mental well-being when it comes to the time you're spending on your private practice. So when it comes to like setting boundaries around your time and things like that, I would really recommend getting a second phone for your therapy practice, which you can turn off when you finish working, leave it in a drawer and go about your normal day-to-day life, and not have to worry about getting text messages or emails and it ping, 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 ping on your phone all throughout the day and night when you are not working. So I would really recommend using technology such as a second phone to help you with this. And you can do that really cheaply as well. You don't need to have the latest iPhone just to speak to your clients and get emails and text messages. You also don't need to have a really high contract. There are many cheap contracts that you can have for a second phone. The one I got was like £10 a month, and it was unlimited, basically everything. I think that was with Tesco Mobile or Mint Mobile. I can't remember which one it is, but there are so many that offer really cheap contracts. And then you just put it in, an older phone, and it works really well. If you don't have the ability to do that, what I would suggest is using your inbuilt technology on your phone so that you can limit what notifications you are getting. So you can turn off your email notifications after a certain time. You could even turn off WhatsApp notifications, which can be annoying because you might get notifications from friends and family, but then you can just click into it when you want to look at the messages rather than when it dictates to you that a message has come through. Because if you're anything like me, whenever I see numbers on my phone, like notification numbers, it really freaks me out and I hate having numbers. So I have to just check it off, even if I'm not going to deal with it there and then. But that really is taxing on my brain because I'm constantly pulled back into work mode when I don't want to be. You can also use technology such as Google Workspace to help you with this too. So for example, if you want to do all of your admin at 6 p.m. at night. You're going to do 1 hour of admin before you switch off, but you don't actually want to get responses from people after that time. You can use Gmail's schedule send feature and schedule all the emails that you're sending out for the morning so that your clients don't know that you're working at 6 p.m. at night and will expect a response from you once you have sent that email. Whereas if you schedule it for 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. the following day and then they reply to you, you are going to be much more likely to be able to respond back to them in your normal working hours. If you wanted to go a step further with technology and you want to have some automations so that you're not having to do so much admin, you can also look at upgrading to an EHR, which is an electronic health record system like Power Diary, and that will take a lot of work away from you. It can mean that clients can book in sessions with you without even talking to you. They can just book on the client portal and find a session time that's convenient for both of you. You can have automated appointment reminders. You can even now automate the invoicing and send in overdue invoices and things like that. So there are a lot of things that you can do with technology to help with your boundaries. And most of my channel really is dedicated to this. It's dedicated to talking about how technology can help you in private practice, which in turn will help you with your work-life balance. So here are 3 ways you can effectively communicate your boundaries. The first way is with clear communication with your clients. Now, this is going to be verbal communication. It's going to be backed up in email communication. It can also be backed up in your paperwork as well. You want to make sure that you are setting those boundaries with your clients really early on. You want to make sure that any important information, such as your cancellation policy, no-show policy, things like that, is said before you even start working with somebody, is pulled out of your paperwork into a welcome email for your clients so they can clearly see and understand what your policy is. If things come up throughout your time working together, such as them communicating with you too much between sessions, you want to bring that up with them as soon as possible. Again, both verbally and also in writing as well, so you can set your clear boundaries around your working hours. This is probably the thing I find hardest to do, is being upfront with somebody when they are pushing my boundary. However, it's really up to me to set and maintain that boundary. So it's something that I've had to get used to, get comfortable with. Even if like in the background I'm uncomfortable, I have to be upfront in telling people that they are, encroaching on the boundary that I have set, or it's a new boundary that I need to set with this particular client because this issue hasn't come up before, but now it is, and I need to set that boundary. So being upfront and clear as much as possible will really help you in terms of setting boundaries. The next way is by using policies. So making sure that your paperwork is up to date, making sure that you're adding things in as necessary. If as and when things come up, you're putting them in your policies and your therapy agreement and things like that, to make sure that you have something to give them that they have signed if they are pushing back on you when you are verbally communicating that with somebody. If you say, oh, I'm sorry, but I do have that 48-hour cancellation period and you are going to have to pay for that, and they push back and say, well, this was never brought up to me, I don't remember having this conversation, then you can say, well, you did sign the paperwork and it was in your welcome email, and we did actually discuss this in your intro call, for example. So making sure you have things backed up in your policies is going to be really helpful for you. And finally, it's just practice. You need to practice saying no. You need to practice putting boundaries in place. And if you are not comfortable with that in general, trust me, being in business and being in a solo business is really going to push you out of your comfort zone many times, and will continue to do so kind of forever as more and more things come up. But it is just practice. I find saying things in text messages and emails much easier than saying things in person. So that has taken practice for me to be able to have uncomfortable conversations with people. I generally see everything as conflict. I expect everybody to be angry with me if I am putting a boundary in place. So I automatically go into the situation like that with anxiety and worry. And I'm sure I'm not alone in that. So if it is something that you struggle with, practice does make perfect, or at least helps you get better. Okay, so I really hope you found this video useful. Sometimes it's so much easier to give advice than take advice, and I'm sure as a therapist you give advice around setting boundaries and things like that on a daily basis. So I'm hoping that this is some encouragement for you to be able to also take your own advice and set those boundaries for yourself to give yourself a better work-life balance. I do think that balance is a really tricky subject. I don't think we ever truly get a work-life balance. I think we have priorities at certain times in our life, and things take different priorities at different times. In the school holidays, my priorities is more my children than my business, and vice versa. When they're at school, my priority is my business, so things in the house might not get done because I am focusing on work. So although there is not a true work-life balance, I don't think we should ever really strive for that. I do think that setting boundaries really does help with our own mental well-being and saving us time and energy and all that kind of stuff. So with that, if you enjoyed this video, I would love it if you would give it a like. You could also consider subscribing to my channel. That really does help me get the word out to more therapists in private practice. So I greatly appreciate everybody who subscribes to the channel. And until next time, thanks so much for watching.